G'day and welcome to JoeJoeMoto. Today I'm going to show you how to check your reeds on a two-stroke motorbike and also replace the reed pedals. So the reeds on a two-stroke is often an overlooked maintenance item. Everything on a motorbike should be constantly checked out, let alone a two-stroke and a dirt bike. I mean, these things rattle around like nothing else, so you should always be checking over every little part of the bike all the time. But the reed valves often get overlooked, and I know that I haven't checked mine in many years. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be ripping off the reed block. So the reed block sits in between the carby and the engine, and it's a vital piece of equipment to stop backflow of all of the fuel and air going in and out of the engine. So definitely a vital piece of the bike. Pretty simple job. It's pretty quick and simple. It's just removing the carby, getting into that reed block and inspecting the pedals, which I'll show you all about very soon. So let's get into it. Let's start pulling off the carby and taking off that reed block. Okay, getting a bit of a closer look at the reed block right in here behind this fuel line. There it is right there. So you can see it's between the carby and the engine here. So to make our job nice and easy, what we're going to do is we're going to be removing the fuel tank and getting some nice access here to everything to make our job a lot easier. So we'll pull the tank off, seat off, tank off, remove the fuel lines and all the rest of it, so then we can get the carby off and go from there. Alright, now with the seat and tank off, that's a pretty quick and easy job obviously. If you can't take your seat and tank off without instructions, then maybe you shouldn't be doing this job. Anyway, carby off is next. So these two hose clamps here, and then the fun part of wrestling it out of that area is always a little bit tricky, but you can always do it. It just takes a little bit of entertainment. But my biggest tip is removing the hose clamp. This side definitely all the way, and sometimes that one all the way as well helps, but yeah, removing that hose clamp all the way is the biggest tip I can give you for getting the carby out a bit easier. Now with the carb out of the way, it's this adapter boot here with these 4 bolts, and they all hold on the reed block inside there. So once we've got these 4 bolts out of here, the boot will come off as well as the reed block. Comes the adapter boot there that goes between the carby and the reed block. So now we have the reed block itself coming out. So these are the reeds on your two-stroke motorcycle. So what we'll do is we'll go up to the bench and I'll show you how to inspect your reed block and reeds and reed pedals. Let's do that. First thing we're going to do though is chuck a little clean rag down in that hole there. We don't want anything dropping down into there. So up on the bench here, I just want to show you guys how to look for issues or damage with the pedals or you know, the reed block itself. Hopefully the reed block itself should be okay, it normally is. So you can see on my reed pedals there's a little bit of chipping right up the top here, but sometimes you find, you know, cracks, big chunks missing, that sort of thing, out of your reed pedal. So mine's not perfect up here, so that's why we're replacing them today. The second thing you want to do is you want to hold this guy up to the light, looking through the reed block, and see if you can see the light coming through. A little bit of light is fine, but if you're noticing, you know, a massive gap, and you see that the reed pedals themselves are bent, you know, sort of bent outwards, you know, coming out from the reed block here, they're sort of bending outwards, you know, you've got a problem. So let's hold it up to the light and see what we can see. So holding up to the light, you can hardly see anything at all. So those reed pedals are nicely placed down, you know, they're nice and firm against the block, so that's pretty good. We are replacing the pedals anyway, but yeah, that's one way to check to see how your reed pedals are going. Okay, so here is our reed pedal kit that we got from the amazing MX store as usual. They're really fast with their delivery and really good. It's not a paid sponsorship, so don't stress about that. And inside the packet we have our instructions. We have, this is the tool to open up the pedals and get the bits and pieces out. Then we've got our 4 pedals themselves and these little guides as well. So we're going to start removing all the stuff from the block. So this is with the V-Force 3 reed block. You get the tool with it, but you don't need the tool. All you need to do is push the cage part through this manifold, gasket, whatever you want to call it. and slip that through. So there we go, there's the cage part of it, manifold part of it, and then this is the actual reed pedal cage section. So that guy's already starting to come out. Alright, so we're going to remove the two outer pedals here. Okay, I'm going to try and keep them in some sort of organised fashion. So, like that, like that. Then I'm going to have that one came off that side, that one came off that side. Don't know how I'm going to locate which side which, but anyway. And now we've got to get the middle ones out, which are these little sort of push tabby bits. Okay, so the next part is to get the internal pedals out of here. So they've got this little sort of retaining pin in here. So you're getting a small screwdriver in at a 45 and you're sort of levering out that pin. So let's give it a crack now. Oh, that's really tricky to get that in there. You can see I've munched up that a bit, trying to do it. Alright, got one of the pins out. Yeah, there we go. So to get that screwdriver, like the lip of that screwdriver to grab that plastic, because it doesn't seem to have any sort of little lip on it. There we go. Again, you can see I've sort of munched that up a fair bit, so you've got to get the screwdriver sort of locked in and sort of scrape it out almost. Anyhow, that means that now we can get these two center pedals out, so just gently pushing these guys like that, sliding him out. So the internal ones are in pretty good nick. There we go. Alright, a very important note here, as they say, warning in the instructions here, is to make sure that the pedals have a curve facing inwards towards the thing, and also on the inside they kind of have curves facing outwards, I guess. You don't want it deflecting outwards that way or outwards that way in the outside ones, or the opposite there, because then it'll leave a little gap at the top. So, very important fact when installing your new reed pedals. Checking the natural bend of these pedals is just simple, you know, looking down the side of it each way and just making sure you get the bend going the right way, you know. And that's both going that way, so that one. So these have a curve like that. I'm doing the center ones first. If it's got a curve like that, it's going to be sitting on the inside on that one there. Okay, so just slotted the piece in a little bit, and I'll do the same on the other side. When you're putting these in, make sure you're pushing it all the way down, and you can actually look inside between those two inner reed pedals there and make sure you are getting it locked into the little inner grooves in there. Don't know how much of that you can see, but anyway. I'll slot those all the way in, and we want those pushed all the way home so that they're not protruding at all. Just that little bit. A little bit more. Awesome. Okay, the internal pedals are in and done. Now the external pedals, same thing. Just check the curvature on them, and it's going to go that way. Fitting up beautifully. Yep, curvature's that way. Okay, and then we can just slot it back into the block. That's how the external ones get held on there. They clip in there and they get held in once it goes back into the block on this one. So now it's a really good idea to hold it up to the light and have a good check and make sure there's no, you know, weird big gaps of light, that you haven't made them so that they curve the wrong way or whatever. And just check that your fitting's really nice in there as well. Okay, with everything installed, it's looking amazing and nice and fresh and new. And also, you know, we can't see any weird lights, huge gap lights or anything like that. You will see like a little tiny crack, obviously, between the pedal and where the cage is. But, you know, if you see any major bits of light coming through or corners cracked off or anything like that, then you know you've got a problem. So that is ready to reinstall into the bike. Now just before we do, I'll just show you the old pedals there. You can see they're pretty you know, pretty chipped up and pretty messed up, and one of them in particular, this guy right here, you can see his corners all chipped off, and you know, it's pretty messed up. It's been in there a very long time, so obviously never been changed, so it's well worth doing this job for sure as a little maintenance item. Okay, well that is replacing the reed pedals in two-stroke motorbike. It should be very similar to basically every two-stroke that has reed block and reed valves like this one has, and reed pedals. So yeah, just read the instructions when you get the new reed pedals. It's a nice easy job, and like I said, it is a maintenance item. You should be checking it, you know, once a year or something like that at least, to just make sure everything's good in there. You saw mine pretty cracked up and not too amazing, but yeah, nice simple job. It's not a really tricky task. It's just a bit fiddly getting the carby out and playing around with that little reed block bit, so not too tricky at all. So yeah, if you think there's someone out there that should be checking their reed pedals, share this video with them, because they might enjoy it and might get a little bit out of it and possibly find a fault with their bike. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've learned a few little things along the way, and don't forget to do all the social media. Hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, do all the other things. Drop a comment below, let me know what you thought about it, and I will see you guys on the next video. How to check your reed block, your reeds, and replace your reed pedals. It's a maintenance. Check things out. Let's do that. Is that alright? That one was okay. Let's go one more. First thing though is we're just going to chuck a little rag down in that hole. Nice clean rag, because we don't want anything. Let's try that again without destroying this gasket. Now that has a bunch of bloody things in them already. Fested things. So what I do is I read the instructions, then I do it, and I tell them about it and pretend that I know what I'm doing. Okay, so inside this part of the cage here, it has these little, you know, tabby bits. So you grab a screwdriver, you put it in at a 45, and then you're flicking this out. So let's do that now. Let's see if we can. I need a smaller screwdriver actually. Yep, I need a smaller screwdriver. The beauty of editing, Will. The beauty of editing, hey? Because all of this will look like a smooth, seamless thing. Sorry, I'll start again. Hang on, I'll start again. Okay, no okays, and no alrights.